the running back room in LA. I mean, we've got Vidal, we've got Hampton. How the hell do we cap that backfield?
I don't think you do. That's probably the easiest answer. I think you
That's what
just
I
fade it.
said.
Yeah, you just fade it. Why get upset about something you have no idea what's going on?
You fade it or you don't pay attention to it.
Right. And I think that the way that I would like, so I guess question, did Matt come on today?
No, he did not.
He did not. Okay. Well, I'll take over the kicker responsibilities today. I think that the only way that I can trust the running backs is by trusting in Cam Dicker.
Oh, okay. So wait, hold on. Now you got cut off. I knew that would happen. Why are those correlated?
I just think that this is a scenario where we've seen, the big glaring thing for the Eagles is that they've been decimated. They're allowing the most yards before contact in the NFL with Jalen Carter out for those 2 games. So you've seen that obviously play in the Bears' favor. It also happened in the Cowboys game the week before. They gave up over 100 combined yards to Cowboys running backs. So it's a real thing. And I don't think that that is something that can be improved very quickly. So if we think that the Chargers, no matter who's running the ball, is going to do well, I also think Herbert can run too in this game. I just think that gives them a lot of positive field stuff. And I think that on the flip side of that, like they might fall short in a couple of these passing scenarios. So I think that that lines up really well for Dicker at home. I'm not really like, I understand like I saw the Ewing ATS stuff earlier. I
Mm-hmm.
saw, really positive numbers for Philly, really negative numbers for Herbert at home in prime time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that everything on paper just trends the opposite direction today. So I was looking at your the graphic right before this about popular plays and stuff. And outside of like one name, I have mine on the exact opposite page.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you pretty much. Oh, that's NBA. We'll get to that in a second. That's my page. Oh my God, I'm a hot mess. Don't look, everyone. Shelter your eyes. This is what we're looking at right now. We're on the same page about Jalen Hurts, McConkey, Dicker. I completely agree with you. How come you're going under passing yards, though? I'm playing it a little different.
Yeah, I just think that this is a spot where you just even if you like if you are on the side of trusting the Eagles, I think that they win the game by just running the football well and passing in specific ways. The problem is that the Chargers are essentially like just as good as the Houston pass defense, and we saw how that looked last night for Patrick Mahomes, like one of his career worst games. I do think that this is a tough one here. I understand Jalen Hurts has been a good ATS favorite against teams with winning records and has done well in primetime stuff. I just don't want to go up against a defense that has allowed the second fewest fantasy points this year to the quarterback position. They are the fewest passing yards defense on the year as well, the fifth fewest yards per attempt, fifth lowest completion percentage. Like all of these numbers are like just as good as Houston, and we kind of saw how that panned out last night. I'm saying something similar could certainly happen today. And then, like furthermore, this is this is a spot where Jalen Hurts is one of the worst QBs against the zone defense concept, and that's something that the Chargers run 80% of the time. They are one of like only 3 or 4 teams that primarily run zone defense that heavy. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If the Eagles and Vegas believe like if this is a -2.5 Eagles situation, I can't imagine that it's going to be because the Eagles are able to pass well.
Devontae Smith over 4.5 receptions. I just hate choosing between these two receivers. I know it's been Smith's year. I know that
Yep.
AJ Brown's been frustrated. How much does that go into the handicap, or was there data and analytics to back this up?
Well, the main, I guess, going back, so this is not going to look good on paper, which is why you're not seeing it trend well from like a most bet player prop situation. People see AJ Brown, they see back-to-back games of 100 plus receiving yards, they see all the touchdowns. It's a huge box score day in the Monday Night Football game for those who are doing that. So I'm not surprised to see the public super heavy on AJ Brown. Uh, in the 3 games, I think 3 weeks ago is when he said that his fantasy owners should drop him, and since then he's been like a top 10 wide receiver. I think that today is specifically the reason that this is even on the graphic is because I do think if there's any way that the Eagles do well in the passing game, It's likely due to the fact that Devonta Smith's just been a better zone receiver, even dating back to college, but specifically with A.J. Brown on the field. A.J. Brown's always been a better man coverage wide receiver than Devonta Smith has been. And he is I think, just if we're looking at positive things, there's not many positives for AJ in this spot, whereas Devonta's just a better zone receiver. And furthermore, I don't think Dallas Goedert's a factor at all in this game. It would be something if he was getting like 4 to 5 targets a game, 4 to 5 receptions a game, but he's only averaging 2 receptions the past 3 games. Chargers are one of the best teams against tight ends. I think the only way that they move the football through the air is with Devonta Smith.
We're on the same page for Ladd McConkey because the public is heavy on his over receiving yards. I'm not playing it that way. I'm playing it the same way as you. This is in my prize picks lineup. Ladd McConkey over his longest reception. How come you decided to go with it?
Yeah, I went there because he's done really well. Or at least Herbert has done really well in the primetime longest reception market as well. I think we can look at that in a little bit, but Ladd McConkey's done really well there too. I kind of like they've only played 2 primetime home games this year. He's hit the 23 or whatever it is in both of those, and if you include week 1 in Brazil as a home game, he's done it in all 3 of them this year. So that's positive. I do think though that people are looking at McConkey and Keenan Allen pretty closely, and I couldn't disagree more. I do think that like the 3.5 receptions market has some value, I guess, to a certain degree.
I mean, like you were logged in when I showed it on Props.cash. Keenan Allen at home in prime time over receptions has cashed.
I get it, and I get it, and I like believing in receivers who've played a lot of years with the same QB in the same system. And this isn't really the same system, but it's definitely with the same QB in these types of situations. So I get it I get from a receptions angle. I just don't know if I can say here confidently that I like Allen more than I like Ladd. And that's specifically because the Keenan Allen is going to be playing in the slot, and since they've figured out this McConkey like early injury / ramp up stuff early on in the year, since October, McConkey's basically had like a 25% target share compared to it was more of a dead even split. If you look at the whole season numbers between he and Allen, and primarily Keenan has been playing in the slot, which is where Philly's defense has actually looked really good in the passing game. So it's not something I really want to go to. And they've been in the scenarios where they have been beaten. Like they've been giving up a lot of yards on the ground, which is I'm sure why people like to play these running backs against them. But if the defense itself, the passing defense specifically, has been getting torched by outside X receivers. And while McConkey's not the main one, that's Quentin Johnston, McConkey still can be moved around, and he has been more of the bigger threat compared to Allen's low A dot target stuff. So if you want to believe in the reception stuff,
weirdly like that McConkey hasn't cashed in 2 weeks.
Oh, right. I mean, that's also part of it too. I think that helps keep the market down at least. Like I'd rather bet on him if he hasn't done it in a few weeks and that market comes down a good 10% rather than 80 plus yards 6 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I like when it hasn't happened and it's prime time now. So let's use what we haven't used in the last few weeks, which is McConkey on a big catch. Dicker, anything else you want to add since you've already addressed it?
He's hit 2 field goals in 8 of 12 this year. 4 of 6 of those games are at home. So from that angle, it's doing really well. I just think that at the end of the day, while Philly has definitely been gashed by the run, I'm not really sure what this Chargers running back room necessarily looks like, and that can lead to kind of systemic failure situations. I think that they are able to do well and continuously put themselves in good kicking positions. I think that they'll probably lean on that, and they tend to lean on Dicker, whereas like Jake Elliott's the exact opposite.